Today I'll show you how to remove a lug nut that's rusted on or seized on. Could be that they were over tightened, or if your vehicle's been sitting a long time, that'll do it too. In this case, it's been about 4 years, I think, since these were removed. I tried taking them off with just my lug wrench and added a few galvanized steel extensions, and they're really not budging. They're rusted on good and tight. Still can't get it. First, take some WD-40 or penetrating oil like this deep creep and spray all the way to the back, soaking the base of the nut from all sides. Then you want to leave the oil as long as possible, at least 24 hours ideally, and soak it a few more times in that period. I recommend wiping away the excess oil. Now that the oil's had some time to do its job, I'm going to try again. First thing, you want to make sure that your socket is the same size as the lug nut itself. If it's too loose, you'll risk rounding it, and then how are you going to get it off? So you want to make sure that you've got a nice snug fit, and I'm going to use for leverage a couple of steel bars. Now if this doesn't work, I'll get the breaker bar out, but I like trying this first because I can apply a more even torque to it, and then there's less risk of me breaking off the lug. So let's give it a go. Also a good idea to put your emergency brake on. Okay, that is not budging. So now I'm going to bring out my breaker bar in an impact socket, making sure that it's the right size and a snug fit, and I want to also make sure it's seated all the way. Although it's not demonstrated here, it's helpful to alternate directions. The clockwise and counterclockwise torque can help break the rust weld, but be careful not to overdo it in the clockwise tightening direction. Here I changed technique and started lifting with my legs. This can increase the risk of snapping off the lug bolt, so make sure to have your breaker bar perfectly perpendicular. No torque twisting the bolt at an odd angle. Oh, there we go. Another thing I could do had that not worked is to add the steel bar for more leverage again. The further away that you can get, the more torque you can apply. So that's how you can get a rusty lug off, but now there are two more thoughts that I want to leave you with. One, if I just take this out, I'm never going to get this lug nut out of this socket. So what's better to do is that once it's loose, just give it a couple little taps. That should loosen. Make sure that you're going to be able to free the lug nut from your socket, and then continue to turn it off. And if that doesn't work, before you take it out, just tighten it back up. Not too much, of course, but just tighten it back up, so that you can kind of break that lug free. Then start to back it off again. And now just wiggle the socket, make sure that you can get it out, get it off of the lug, and then take the lug off. That is one rusty lug. To prevent this from happening again, before I put the lug nut back on, and put a little bit of anti-seize on there. And that's how you can remove a rusty lug nut. If this video was helpful, please like and subscribe. If it saved you a bit of money, why not send me a little thanks through YouTube at the bottom? I'd appreciate it. That will allow me to make more videos, save you more money. Thanks for watching.